Thank you, Chairman Krishnamurthy and Ranking Member Cloud, and thank you for being here today. In our past 3 hearings, one issue that we all have agreed upon is to keep e-cigarettes and vaping products out of the hands of those who are underaged. I do feel that all of these hearings have also illustrated the important role that e-cigarettes can play in helping people quit smoking cigarettes. It still seems as if it can be a vital tool in reduction and should remain an option for those who do need it. Can you discuss the proactive steps that both the CDC and FDA have taken to prevent youth from accessing e-cigarettes?
Yes, and thank you for the question. We're responsible for enforcing the part of the law that establishes a federal minimum age of sale to all tobacco products, including e-cigarettes, and for enforcing the law about illegal marketing of e-cigarettes to kids. And so through our Office of Compliance and Enforcement, we have issued over 10,000 warning letters and over 1,600 civil money penalty complaints, and that's seeking a financial payment to the federal government for repeat illegal sales at the retail level to minors in our, what we call our compliance check program. In addition, we've made a massive investment in public education to complement the ongoing enforcement actions. I wish I could say that public education and compliance and enforcement alone would be sufficient to reverse the trend that we're seeing in the annual surveys, but it's not. More needs to be done. Unfortunately, we've had to use our enforcement resources to go after companies that were remarkably selling e-liquids to purposely resemble juice boxes. We did that in a collaboration with the Federal Trade Commission, because those were also violations of the Federal Trade Commission Act. There's good news and there's bad news. The good news is when we sent the first 17 of those warning letters just on the issue were purposely being marketed to resemble juice boxes, cereal, and candy, all 17 manufacturers immediately reformulated their packaging. That was the good news. The bad news is, about a month later, we were doing the kind of monitoring and surveillance that we do online with the techniques that we had. And we saw that there were a whole bunch of online retailers that were still selling those products. So we had to put out a whole additional batch of warning letters to the online retailers that were continuing to sell products that manufacturers had agreed to reformulate.
That sort of leads me to my next question, which is what's being done, what enforcement efforts are being done to get the illicit and illegal vape products off the market now?
When we're talking about the illicit product, that's taking us into the realm of what's going on with THC vaping, so that's separate.
And excuse me, but will you please explain what THC is?
So THC is, I don't know, I can't give you the chemical name, but it's a chemical derivative of marijuana.
So that people do know.
There are a whole bunch of people who are purchasing this completely illegal product to get high. And what we've seen only in the last 3, 4, or 5 months is something changed, something happened in how these products were being manufactured, if you will, and sold, because we weren't seeing the incidence of lung injury and death, even if people had been vaping THC earlier than April or May of this year. Something changed earlier this year. The working hypothesis is, well, it's a completely illegal enterprise to begin with, and agents are being used to cut the THC to make it go further, and the agents that are being used are oils, and if you inhale oil into your lungs, that's a really bad thing, and it can make you very sick. And in all of the cases that the CDC has been able to test lung fluid, they have found this vitamin E acetate, this oil, present in every single sample.
And that leads me to probably my last question, although I have more. Acetate is different than vitamin E oil. So do we have 2 products being put together to make vitamin E acetate?
That, I can't answer that. I'll have to get back to you for the record on that. But it is an oil that's being added as a diluent to stretch the THC.
Okay. Thank you. I'll yield back.